I'm speaking with Christi Barth, who is an author well known for her sweet and sassy romantic stories, and Love at High Tide is no exception to that rule. Today, Christi is stopping by to share with us something special about her newest release, a funny, sexy beach caper fling romance. Welcome, Christi.
Thank you. I'm thrilled to be here.
You have an interesting story to tell about how you came up with the idea for Love at High Tide, and it involves an observation that you made in Ocean City. Can you share that observation with us?
It does. I adore going to Ocean City. When we moved from Chicago, the day we bought a house here in Maryland, instead of looking for places to have jobs or anything like that, I went online and booked a beach house. And my husband still let me move out here, which was very kind of him. And in our very first trip, we noticed when we went to the grocery store and the ice cream store and basically everywhere that everyone we spoke to had super thick, like bad movie villain Eastern European accents. And we had to ask why, because it was literally every place we went. And they have an exchange program, much like I know Disney World does, where they bring in college-age workers from the Eastern European countries to fill the slots that us Marylanders aren't doing. And they're basically taking all the service jobs for the summer. But when you have that many people from other countries walking around talking in unintelligible languages, it sets a writer like me to huge imaginings of what else could be happening.
Christi, you took a degree in vocal performance and embarked on a career on the stage, and then you became a wedding planner, and now you're a successful romance writer. So tell us about that journey.
I think, as odd as it sounds, all three really are tied together, because I performed in musical theater and opera, and really my job was to take people out of their lives for 2 hours at a time and make them live something else and forget their troubles and have a happy ending, because I didn't do the sad operas. I only did the happy ones. And as a wedding planner, it's the same thing. It is, I don't believe in saying it's the happiest day of your life, because you've got 50 years with that person after that. You better have a few happier ones. But it is an absolute celebration of joy.
And speaking of love, Planning for Love was the first book in your Islebound trilogy. Since you were formerly a wedding planner, I'm curious as to how similar you are to the heroine Ivy in that book.
I'm not as neurotic. And I will say it is now a 4-book series, because
Wonderful.
I got an idea from a commenter when Planning for Love first released, and I had to write the story of Ivy and Ben's wedding as book 4. But I am a list maker, and I can say with 100% certainty that every single wedding I coordinated started on time. The bride walked down the aisle at 4 o'clock, not 4:01, 6 o'clock, not 6:01. And there's a very funny story in Planning for Love where she has a skydiving ring bearer, and the hero is very doubtful and says, "You're not going to start on time." And he misses the mark and lands in a zoo pond, but she looks at the hero and says, "We're still on time. See? He landed. We're ready to go." So a few of those things that were me creep in.
I love it. Your in-laws also have a pretty special tradition that they shared with you at your own wedding. What can you tell us about that?
That it was a complete surprise, and I kind of wish I'd had the heads up about it. But my husband's grandfather started the tradition with his son of gathering all the men who were both willing and able, or maybe not as able as they should have been, to sing the theme song from Guys and Dolls, the Broadway musical, at the wedding, because the words are kind of apropos about a guy doing everything in the world for a doll. And it was really great at our wedding when they did it, because since we were in the theater, we had members of the Minnesota Opera, we had multi-Grammy award-winning nominated jazz musicians singing.
Oh my.
And my husband and I had performed in Guys and Dolls together as well. So it was a super special tradition.
You also mentioned in a recent interview that you recommend picnicking as a great date night activity. So I have to ask you, what are your recommendations for the ultimate picnic basket meal?
This resulted in quite the conversation on the road trip out here between my husband and I, because I immediately burst out with one answer and he burst out with another. And he is addicted to brownies. He claims that's one of the reasons he asked me to marry him, is for my brownies, which are not that special. It's like a back-of-the-box recipe for anyone out there, but they're really great. I think you have to have pasta salad. Mm-hmm. Because everybody loves pasta salad. You don't have to worry about fried chicken going soggy. You don't have to worry about mayonnaise giving you salmonella. You can do a million different things with pasta salad, and it can sit around at your office for 4 hours, and then you can go out for a picnic afterwards. You have to pretend to be healthy by having a little fruit. You have to have brownies and And you have to have chips because that's the American way.
Of course.
And wine.
And wine.
Wine, please.
I read that you also like to give each of your characters an obsession that helps personalize them. So I have to ask you if you have any particular obsessions.
I don't think I have any really funny ones. I do love to cook, and I get cookbooks from the library constantly to read through and see if they're worth buying, or if I just want to photocopy out. If I want to photocopy out 4 recipes. If it's more than 5 recipes, I buy the book. If it's 5 or less, then I just photocopy them.
Great. You write contemporary romance. Have you ever thought about writing in another genre, perhaps YA or something else?
I swear too much for YA, or I swear too much for how I think young adults should behave.
What can readers expect next from Christi Barth?
I have book 3 in the Islebound series coming out in October, and it is my favorite book I've written to date. It is so wonderful. It has an unapologetic Casanova-type hero who is British and will make every woman swoon so much, so much, so much. And he's great, and the woman he falls in love with is his best friend. It really is. It's entitled Friends to Lovers, and as basic as it sounds, that's what it is. And she's a florist, and there's a reality TV show competition with flowers, and it's all set in the snazziness of Chicago in the winter. It's wonderful.
I can't wait to read it. So thank you very much for sitting down with us, and all the best with the series.
Thank you so much.